These are 10 of the wildest celebrity episodes of Family Guy. But before we get started, if you have any topic ideas you want to see, let us know in the comments below and we'll make sure to shout you out in the video if we use your topic. Shout out to Darks398, we've seen your many comments about doing a video on Stewie's sexuality and love the idea, but it's just gonna be too much for YouTube to handle. So for now, the best we can offer you is this.
We've come a long way.
We've come a lot of ways.
Think that covers that. Now, on to today's video. Starting with the time Kevin James's life on TV would come to an end, which could have led to his actual life ending if Peter hadn't helped him in the episode The Return of the King of Queens. So it's Christmas time and Peter wants to sit down and watch a Christmas movie. There's just one problem.
The TV's gone, we're cutting the cord. We need money for Christmas gifts, so I sold it.
But the TV is such an integral part of the family dynamic. What else are characters gonna be watching when a new scene starts? Meg? Don't be ridiculous.
A single TV console is outdated. Everyone just streams now on their individual devices.
Yeah, I can't wait for this family of 6 to huddle around the iPad for family movie night.
We don't need a TV in the golden age of streaming.
Golden age of streaming.
Yeah, it's pretty great. You can watch almost anything you want, the rates only go up every few months, and if a new show doesn't get 1 trillion views in its premiere, it gets canceled and wiped from existence. The future's incredible, huh? But even Peter's pals have turned to the dark side.
Name one good show on streaming. Mayor of Easttown. Fargo. True Detective.
Well, they got me there. Those are good shows. But if Peter doesn't get his network TV, Lois doesn't get her hobby either.
Where's the fridge?
I sold it. You get rid of the things I love, I get rid of the things you love.
I like where his head's at. Fully up his own butt. But maybe it's worth giving streaming a shot. So he sits down to stream, but this elicits the arrival of the star of one of Peter's favorite network shows.
Kevin James?
Hi, Peter. You were my last viewer. And now that you've gotten rid of network TV, I'm out of a job.
Are you telling me the royalties from Zookeeper aren't enough to keep him afloat? And now that he's here, Peter must abide by the ancient laws of sitcoms that say if someone shows up at your door, they get to live with you. It's basically in every pilot.
Oh, really? Name 50.
New Girl, 2.5 Men, Punky Brewster, Perfect Strangers, Frasier.
What, were you expecting him to not name all 50 examples? Well, they do, and 50 more. But we're gonna save you from having to see that.
But everything I had was because people knew me from network TV, and now that's over.
That and being Adam Sandler's go-to plus-sized friend, but I guess that isn't as great of an image.
I'll show him how to be a real guy, and not just a sitcom real guy, and then he'll be on his way.
So real guy stuff is kinda just doing boring things and getting a job and paying your mortgage.
Mr. Pewterschmidt, it's Peter. Please pay my mortgage. Damn it, Griffin. I'm crying, Mr. Pewterschmidt. I'm crying.
His experience is a little different than most, though those are the right amount of tears you'd expect from paying bills. And after a while, Kevin seems to make it work by getting a job, a girlfriend, and a new life.
I owe you, Peter. Put it there.
Ah! What happened to your hand?
Whoa, was Kevin ever even real at all?
Kevin is fading away because streaming has made him irrelevant.
He's gonna need to touch the hearts and minds of people like he did on TV if he wants to survive. Luckily, it's Christmas time, so everyone's in high spirits.
Get off the stage! Network TV is stupid!
Yeah, it looks like TV just isn't in style anymore. Thankfully, there's a type of comedy that's always in vogue.
Peter! My other leg!
Yeah, if there's anything that YouTube, Vine, and TikTok have taught me, it's that people love to see others suffer. And Kevin's buffoonery actually ends up saving his career.
Kevin, let's go make a sitcom.
I can't believe it! I'm gonna be on TV again!
And then he explodes, which I'm being told is a good thing. Looks like the future of the Paul Blart film franchise will continue to live on whether we want it to or not. But Stewie would regret keeping the Star Trek franchise alive when he brought the entire cast of The Next Generation back together, which quickly became a huge headache for him in Not All Dogs Go to Heaven. So the family's attending a Star Trek convention in Quahog, and Stewie sees it as the perfect opportunity to get some inspiration.
Brian, look, I purchased authentic blueprints to build a Star Trek transporter.
Sounds about as useful as learning Klingon, which you can actually learn and study at some universities. And they say the education system is failing. But when Stewie attends a panel to speak to the Star Trek cast, he struggles to get their attention.
Mr. Stewart! Mr. Stewart! Mr. Stewart! Mr. Stewart! Mr. Stu! Stu!
In their defense, if I saw someone calling at me like a deranged crow, I'd probably avert my eyes as well. It doesn't help that the other attendees are asking the dumbest questions imaginable.
I've got an artesian well on my property and the water pressure is lousy. Any suggestions?
What does this look like, the Doctor Who panel? Save your irrigation questions for that one.
This is
And that's the last question. Thank you for coming. You've been wonderful.
But Stewie's gonna get that question answered one way or another, thanks to his brand new transporter.
If my calculations are correct, the cast of Star Trek The Next Generation will soon be here to answer all my questions.
Forget selling those blueprints at conventions, that guy needs to start selling them to the government.
It's them! I did it!
Fun fact, this episode is actually the first time the whole cast of The Next Generation have been together since 2002, 7 years prior to its airing. Maybe that was for a good reason.
It was an awful lot of fun. You know, when Patrick wasn't hogging the limelight.
Oh, Michael.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a day of spending time with like 10 toddlers. Which, honestly, Stewie's probably used to at this point.
Hey, that sounds like fun! Ow!
Shut up, Will.
Stop it, Patrick!
Personally, if I had all of them there, I'd ask them what their thoughts on The Last Jedi are. Not whatever this is.
Will Wheaton.
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 I will be bashing my head into the wall after this. So after a little Grand Theft Auto, Stewie takes the cast out on the town.
I'm not really much of a fast food eater.
Yeah? Can you read my mind? Can you tell what I'm thinking right now? I'm thinking shut up and get a salad.
Not sure why he thought taking a bunch of man babies through a drive-thru of all places was the right idea. Honestly, if you've got more than like 2 people in the car, you're better off avoiding the headache and just going inside and ordering.
And they have all the ingredients for a McDeal.
Just hang on, all right? There's a lot of us.
But maybe a trip to the bowling alley will be a little less stressful.
Jonathan, we were just up at the counter. Why didn't you get your shoes?
I don't have my shoes either.
I guess all those years playing characters in space must have made them forget how things work here on Earth. Maybe Stewie should knock them all upside the head with a bowling ball to set them straight.
Look at me. I've got girl.
Yeah, kinda sounds like it's time to call it quits.
This was exhausting. This whole experience was absolutely exhausting.
Once again, this is more proof that you should never meet your heroes, especially if you're just gonna have to babysit them all day, and especially if you're already a baby.
I hope you all die.
But Peter would be embarrassed in front of his heroes, the band Kiss, when Lois turns out to know none of the words to their songs in Road to Europe. So Peter and Lois are watching their favorite public access show that's all about Kiss.
Welcome back to Kiss Forum, Rhode Island Public Access's most popular show about Kiss.
Also probably the only show about Kiss, but I'm not gonna dunk on a small-time creator just trying to get their bag.
Hey, you're on Kiss Forum.
Yeah, Kiss sucks.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Trace the call, trace the call.
Back in the day, thems were fighting words and could get you beat up. What's the modern day equivalent? It'd be like saying you think Thelonious Monk sucked today. But the show also comes with a pretty big announcement.
So if you're a Kiss fan and you live in the Northeast, come out for all 5 shows of what we're calling Kiss Stock.
Dang, it's too bad Quahog's in French Polynesia, otherwise Peter would be all over that. It isn't really, but Peter takes a bit to remember that.
We can go to Kiss Stock. Ah!
So Peter and Lois decide to pack up and head out to Kiss Stock, even though Meg thinks it's stupid.
It's painful.
Not half as painful as a tire iron upside your head.
What?
I'll miss you.
It's funny to think how in later seasons, Peter would probably have just hit her with it without saying a word. So Peter and Lois get all decked out in Kiss gear and even run into some friends.
There's Dave and Dottie, the nudists.
Well, hey there, Griffins.
I guess Kiss cosplay ends at the neck for them. Remember when it seemed like the nudists might become regular characters? I guess the censors didn't want to work overtime.
Exemplary.
Rock and roll.
But now it's time to finally see Kiss perform, and Peter and Lois have front row seats, as well as an invitation to sing along to Rock and Roll All Night.
And have a wonderful time.
Not to be dramatic, but this may just be grounds for divorce for Peter. And honestly, I can't blame him. Who doesn't know that chorus? Gen Z, you're exempt this time.
Oh man, I've lost all faith in mankind.
Music is dead to me now.
So now Peter needs to confront Lois about being a fake fan and killing rock and roll forever.
You've been living a lie all these years. You represented yourself as a Kiss fan.
Some partners cheat, some lie about being Kiss fans. At this point, I'm not super sure which one is worse.
I wanted to share in all aspects of your life, Peter, but I just was never that big a Kiss fan.
Well, all respect for Lois has been lost, so it's probably best if they just go home.
I guess I'm just not as cool as you thought I was.
I guess not.
But when they stop at a Denny's, they find Kiss eating inside as well. I get they want to be humble and eat where us little people eat, but no one should have to subject themselves to Denny's. Besides, we're a Waffle House family.
It's Lois. Lois Pewterschmidt. I knew you before you changed your name.
Not only did Lois know Gene Simmons when they were younger, but she also apparently has quite a reputation.
You look great, Lois. Anyone nailing you now?
Yes, my husband nails me. This is him, Peter.
This must be like if Peter met God. Actually, he has met God, and I still think this is probably a bigger deal for him.
You are the coolest girl in the world. My wife did kiss.
And Jay Giles.
And Bill Clinton, Daryl Hall, Jerome, Rob Fishman, her classmate Naomi. Not shaming her, just standing in awe of her track record. What a life to have lived. And Brian would find the drive to continue living after meeting Frank Sinatra Jr., forming a musical act with him before his drinking almost ruined everything and Brian sings and swings. So Brian's involved in an unfortunate accident right outside the Griffin home.
Oh, God, did I hit that deaf kid again? You gotta put a bell on that guy.
This is what Brian gets for being outside without a leash. He'll live this time, but next time he won't be so lucky.
Peter, I don't need to be in a wheelchair.
No arguments, Brian.
Yeah, who doesn't want an excuse to be wheeled around all the time? Is what someone would say if they were wanting universal karma to come and rock their world eventually.
I'm a little depressed. The accident got me thinking about how uncertain life is and how suddenly it can be taken away.
Well, no worries. Nothing fixes depression like a drink or 20 down at the cabana.
Hey, buddy, you're not looking so good.
Who cares how I look? Nothing matters.
Sure, he may think that now, but maybe a song from special guest Frank Sinatra Jr. can show him that life is worth living.
I'm oh so glad we met the second time around.
One of the few times bringing a heavily intoxicated guy up on stage to sing didn't end in total disaster. Quite the gamble there, Sinatra.
I was just inspired to get up on that stage. Gotta live life for today, you know?
Which I guess means having a whiskey and orange juice at 9 a.m. Hey, if you're living for now, why wait until it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? But if there's one thing to know about Seth MacFarlane, it's that he's not going to let Seth MacFarlane have all the fun singing.
We go together, there's no mistake.
Like a bowl of chowder and a big clam cake.
It's not enough to just sing with Sinatra. Seth has got to flex his vocal prowess as much as he can. It probably won't be long until Seamus gets up there for the next number. And as the trio's success grows, so too does Brian's drinking. Judging by all those martinis, I'd say he finally found the leg he needed to hump. But of course, all this drinking begins to affect his performance and personal life.
Do you have any idea what time it is? Stewie was supposed to be in bed 2 hours ago.
Come on, he's a very capable toddler. I'm sure he's fine.
You may have noticed I'm missing an ear. Managed to pull it out of the deer's mouth and put it in some ice I got at a 7-Eleven.
Well, you know, they say the right ear does most of the hearing anyway. The left one is kind of like the appendix, mostly useless.
You stay out of my life! What the hell is happening to you?
And after that little outburst, Brian is MIA for the next show, so Stewie sets out to look for him.
Oh God, a gutter? How cliché.
I don't know what went wrong. I was just trying to live for the moment, you know?
Not so sure that should have been mixed with speed-running alcohol poisoning.
You've got to accept the fact that there are some things in life that you just can't control.
The getting hit by a car thing is pretty easy to avoid though, but we all know Brian forgets what he's learned later down the line.
You matter to someone.
You matter big time!
So after that little moment of assurance, Brian dusts himself off and arrives just in time for the show.
Nothing compares to the feeling we get when we swing.
So true, Sinatra. A lot of life's problems can probably be fixed by just a few turns on a swing set. But Brian would find his problems fixed through embracing conservatism, thanks to a budding friendship with Rush Limbaugh in excellence in broadcasting. So Republican commentator Rush Limbaugh is coming to Quahog to promote a new book, something Brian has very strong opinions on.
Don't they have bookstores at the fascist fat camp where he is a counselor?
Yes? No? I honestly lost track of whatever it is you were trying to say.
You know what? I'm gonna go down there and give that Limbaugh a piece of my mind.
Okay, but only a small piece. I don't think you can afford to part with much more than that, Brian. But Brian finds him and is ready to let him have it.
Our republic has been bastardized and royally screwed up thanks to you jackasses. You suck.
What exactly about Rush's book got Brian in such a huff? Well, first off, I was dumb to assume Brian actually read the book.
For crying out loud, Brian, read my book. Judge for yourself.
But Brian's got better things to do, like get jumped on his way home.
Oh no, it's a multiracial TV gang, including white guys.
The most dangerous kind of gang. They don't discriminate in membership or who they're gonna beat up. So they beat Brian up, but he's rescued in the nick of time by an unlikely ally. Okay, if the book also includes how to throw down like that, I may be tempted to read it myself.
I'll read 4 pages of your book tonight, all right? 4 pages, that's it.
But 4 pages turn into 10, 10 turn into 20, and before long, Brian has the whole thing read in a night.
Oh my God, Rush Limbaugh was right all along. Conservative republicanism is the answer.
Well, congrats to Brian for making an actually informed opinion for once in his life. So Brian goes through a complete personality overhaul, which I guess means he's no longer a nudist. But Lois clocks him for what's really going on.
You gotta be on the other side or you don't feel like the smartest guy in the room. All you are, my dear, is a contrarian.
A contrarian? If Brian knew what that word meant, he might be outraged. But Brian tries to change her mind by having Rush over for dinner one night, and it goes about as well as you'd expect.
Global warming is not a myth, you son of a...
Look, what the hell are you so hostile for?
Because you brainwashed our dog!
Hey, I thought the rule was no political discussions at the dinner table, even if all the guest does is eat, sleep, and breathe politics.
I am seeing the world in a whole new way now. To quote a famous troublemaker, I have a dream.
And through song, Brian explains his dream of picket fences, apple pie, and I guess a lack of individuality. We can't all be rocking the black suit every day. Where's the pizzazz?
I'll bet you $1 you won't find a damn thing wrong.
Actually, Lois finds several things wrong, which drives Brian to strike out on his own.
I'm moving out.
What?
No!
Again?
I'm gonna go stay with Rush Limbaugh. Right, Rush?
Huh?
Good thing they've talked this one through. Brian may just be codependent all his life, but he does give back to Rush, like replacing a lot of his things with American-made products.
That light fixture? New heat regulator on your stove? Your man bra?
Please tell me the support beams are still Canadian lumber, or else this whole place is coming down. But when Brian starts to interject during Rush's talk show, things start to get a bit heated.
We gotta get him on board with us.
Brian, look, there is no victory unless people know why they were wrong to disagree with you in the first place.
You know, maybe I'm glad I chose to talk about cartoons for a living. Way less stressful and way less of an effect on how people think. But after a little stint in jail for trying to kill Nancy Pelosi, Rush realizes he's not really conservative, he just wants to fight against whoever's in charge.
Lois was right.
Right there. See, the fact that you would give a woman credit for anything, it means you're a liberal, Brian.
Well, if respecting women makes me a liberal, then just call me John Liberal, the inventor of the liberal. With the two affirmed in their own beliefs, they part ways as enemies, but also as friends. Okay. Forget about the lizard people running the world, we gotta be on the lookout for the bird people. But Russian sleeper agents would become the next target, as Brian and Stewie team up with actors Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd to stop the destruction of America in Spies Reminiscent of Us. So Peter runs into a problem when he can't seem to find a place to do his business.
I made reservations with the maitre d'. Isn't that right, Cornelius?
Lois Griffin, poop for one.
Seems like bathrooms are a weird pivot for Open Table to cover, but hey, I won't complain. But luckily there's a place where Peter can do his business in peace.
Where have you been?
Oh, let's just say I've been at Cleveland's empty house taking a dump.
Don't be so subtle, man. Tell her what you're really doing. So Peter goes on a stool spree, using Cleveland's old house for numbers 1, 2, 3, and even the mysterious 4, but it doesn't last long.
Hey, no, what are you doing? That's my bathroom.
What are you talking about? We just rented this place.
Wow, it's Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase. I assume they're either here to talk about ghosts or how much Chevy hated being on Community.
I sure would love it if you guys would come to our house for dinner tonight. My wife's cooking sucks, but I just want to look at you.
So they do just that, but things quickly go south when the three of them disagree over who's funnier.
You're painfully unfunny.
Get the out of my house!
Chase and Aykroyd must be on the Emmy committee. Suddenly the whole never winning an Emmy thing is starting to make sense. But a suspicious Brian and Stewie decide to pop over to see what the two actors are up to, only to find a secret passageway.
What the hell is this place?
Welcome to Dump, Deep Underground Military Protection Facility.
So Peter was taking a dump right above where Dump was stationed? Now that's foreshadowing.
Turns out Spies Like Us was Ronald Reagan's favorite movie, so he actually appointed us honorary spies back in the 80s.
They aren't the first actors to be spies either. There's Christopher Lee, Cary Grant, and Awkwafina. Still compiling the evidence on the third one, but the truth will be revealed soon enough. But anyway, Chase and Aykroyd are here to track down secret KGB sleeper agents.
The U.S. government believes that one of these sleeper agents is right here in Quahog.
Oh man, it could be anyone. Even the girl reading this right now. So they decide to raise a case with Mayor West, even disclosing to him the sleeper's activation phrase.
Gosh, that Italian family at the next table sure is quiet.
Oni uznali pramenia, dolzen vernutsa staletsiu.
Well, West is either an insulted Italian or he's the sleeper agent. West beats down all four of them, but luckily Dan's able to put a tracker on him before he escapes, which leads them all the way to Russia.
How do we know where to start looking?
The tracking beacon I shot into Mayor West's ankle will allow us to locate him.
Now all they gotta do is not stick out like a sore thumb.
Hey, they're not bears on unicycles!
Quick, you can still salvage this if you bust out your sickest Przyatki dance. So the guys are brought to President Putin, who actually seems to be on their side.
The reactivation of a Cold War sleeper spy would be an embarrassment to my government.
The other stuff is fine, though. This would be the most egregious thing. They manage to track West down, but not before he fires off a missile towards who knows where. Did they just have those things lying around in Russia?
Mayor West, you're in Russia. You've just launched a nuclear missile against the United States.
I don't really keep up with politics, so can somebody tell me if that's a bad thing? Thankfully, they think of a fix just in time.
Source programmable guidance. We can reprogram and disarm the missile from here.
Don't you just love 80s movie levels of convenience? So they managed to make the warhead explode in the sky, saving the US. I wonder what happens to all the debris.
No, 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 no!
But this isn't the last threat to America's safety Brian and Stewie would face, as they find out Miley Cyrus is actually a robot and accidentally send her on a rampage in the episode Hannah Banana. So Stewie's binge watching the Hannah Montana show when he hears she'll be performing in Quahog.
Call to get your tickets now.
Ah! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!
But not now, because it just sold out.
Dang ticket scalpers, gotta ruin the concert-going experience for everyone. The concert-going experience was already ruining it themselves with their overpriced drinks and lack of good seating, but this sucks too.
You're watching Hannah Montana?
Well, yeah, to make fun of it.
Brian just doesn't understand the subtle nuances of the show's embodiment of imposter syndrome and leading a double life. Or maybe it is just a show for babies.
And she's coming to town and I have to get tickets, Brian. You have to help me get tickets.
No, it's a stupid show and a huge waste of time.
Yeah, Brian's got other plans like, okay, he'll do it.
Will you help me?
All right, fine.
So the pair manages to sneak backstage where Hannah's performing.
Now remember to play it cool. Act like you belong here. Oh my god, Miley, I love you, I love you.
Smooth. She doesn't suspect a thing. But Brian realizes he's gonna need to drum up a little sympathy for Stewie in order to not get them kicked out.
He has cancer.
Oh my god. Really?
Yeah, he's got a tumor in his head the size of a football.
That would definitely explain a ton, but it's at least enough to get Miley to let them stay.
I can't believe I'm sitting here with you, Miley Cyrus. It's like I'm in a dream.
Well, that makes me happy, Stewie.
It's just a good thing he got to her before her persona became a little more, shall we say, not safe for babies.
Oh, you wrote a song? Look at you. You're a regular little Tim McGraw.
And the two decide to sing that very song over clips of Chris and the Evil Monkey hanging out. Don't you worry about that, that's just the A-plot. You only gotta worry about the B-plot for this video.
Friendship is the best thing ever, except for best friendship, which is a little better.
See, this is the kind of nuanced and poetic writing you know Brian just wouldn't get. But underneath that happy, bubbly exterior of Miley's lies something colder, darker, and slightly more wiry.
Stewie, can you hand me my cell phone?
Oh, sure.
Thanks.
Look, celebrities just emit a very low level of radiation frequency. It's the source of why they're so talented and crazy. But upon further investigation, Stewie learns the truth.
Oh my god! She's an android!
A nice little premonition for that one episode of Black Mirror.
She's a product of Disney Imagineering. They built a perfect robot teen idol.
First the Yeti on Expedition Everest, and now this? They need to pivot from working on theme park rides and pop stars and start focusing on robot soldiers. But rather than inform someone of this discovery, Brian's brain goes right to the degenerate stuff.
Do you think she does other stuff like a real girl? You know, if you reprogrammed her?
Brian, that's 6. She's 16.
Well, Brian's technically 8, so if anything, she would be the one getting in trouble. For whatever reason, Stewie decides to help appease the dirty dog.
Hey, your shirt tag is showing. Let me just,
But he must have gotten the flirty button mixed up with the fighty button because she is not in the mood for dog romance.
Miley Smash!
So Stewie and Brian run through the A-plot to escape, which means the monkey takes it upon himself to stop Miley's rampage.
Miss Cyrus, I ask you to stop what you're doing. I don't just mean this, I mean everything. The show, the music, it's all just awful.
Yet another Philistine that doesn't understand the genius that is Hannah Montana, and Miley plans to make him pay for his transgression by kidnapping him. Luckily, Peter has a friend with a biplane and a Gatling gun, which they use to strike down Miley and save the monkey. Well, Miley's done for, but at least Hannah Montana's safe. You know, they look so much alike that I wouldn't be surprised if they were related or something.
You know, Brian, here's your shot. Go for it. Oh, too late.
No, it's not.
Hey, can we maybe turn that biplane around and gun down Brian real quick, too? But Peter would lose that bravery when up against Liam Neeson, who ends up turning him into his manslave in the episode Fighting Irish. So after getting a few beers deep, Peter insists that he can beat up Irish actor Liam Neeson.
Oh, come on, Peter, not this again.
What? He's a fake tough guy. I could totally kick his ass.
Unlike Peter, who is a real, genuine tough guy. You may not realize it, but that's 300 pounds of pure muscle. Peter's got that kingpin build.
If you were ever face-to-face with Liam Neeson, you'd crap your pants.
No, I wouldn't.
Well, fine. Let's prove it.
Just maybe have that new pair of pants on standby. Even if he doesn't poop himself, you never know when you'll need another pair.
He's shooting a movie in Connecticut.
We could be there in 3 hours. All right, great.
So the guys pack up to Connecticut to track down Mr. Neeson.
We just gotta get you on that set so you can kick his ass.
We're so close I can almost taste his ass.
Must have been a heck of a drive, because I think Peter may have forgotten what he's supposed to do with Liam once he finds him. But who would have thought you can't just mosey onto a film set and try to beat up the star?
Are you the guy who's been looking for Liam Neeson?
I am.
Do you mind if we ask what for?
Yeah, I was hoping to inflict violence upon him.
So Peter gets himself carted off to jail. Oh, suddenly it's a crime to try to commit a crime? But he won't be in there long because someone paid his bail.
I did.
Oh my god, the villain from that western nobody liked. So Liam's come to call Peter out on his bluff, but Peter may be having second thoughts.
May I offer you the most sincere, honest apology? Ow!
Alright, your choice, Peter. You want to get punched to death with glass fists like the Gray, or die in a helicopter explosion like Darkman?
Please, I'll do anything. Anything you want, just don't kill me.
So Liam concedes, but only if Peter acts as his servant, doing jobs like filling in for him at jury duty and responding to fans on Twitter.
See? Like that.
Look, it's a regional difference. Irish Twitter goes way harder than you would expect, but the demands start to get a little ridiculous.
So what I need you to do is to go to a local gym and ask men to pee in your hands.
Maybe he's trying to take the heat off him because there are surprisingly quite a few pictures of Liam Neeson with peed pants. Or maybe he's just a big fan of calico cut pants. But when Peter returns to the guys, his version of the story so far is quite different.
You ready to admit you're never gonna kick Liam Neeson's ass? It just so happens, Joe, that I already did.
Sure, and my uncle works at Microsoft and can totally ban you for taking the Sweaty Clam username before me. But the guys need to see this for themselves, so they swing by Neeson's trailer to find Peter kissing his butt instead of kicking it.
I was too scared to fight Liam Neeson.
That's why he's my big fat houseboy now.
But Liam should know that a man's way more likely to do something stupid when his boys are watching.
No, Liam. I'm not doing your stupid chores anymore.
And one backhand slap later, the two get into some Irish-on-Irish violence. But to call this an even fight would be a lie. Neeson annihilates Peter in the brawl. But once a good amount of blood has been drawn, Neeson calls it quits on Peter.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to get a free movie set haircut.
And this is why you never follow through on a claim you made while you were drunk. If I'd have done that, that old witch would have never turned me into a talking clam. Oh well, you live and learn, you know? And Peter would learn that Ryan Reynolds may be looking to be more than friends with him when the two got uncomfortably close and Stewie goes for a drive. So when Peter and Lois are leaving the hospital, they get approached by actor Ryan Reynolds.
From The Proposal and The Change-Up and a ton of upcoming stuff? Yeah, that's me.
And of course, the superhero movie that would change his career and the world forever. Green Lantern. Hey, I never said it changed the world for the good.
Oh, hey, I never got your name.
Peter Griffin.
And I'm Lois.
Catch you later, Peter.
But this isn't the last they'll see of Mr. Reynolds, as he happens to move into Cleveland's old house across the street.
Well, believe it or not, they've decided to shoot my movie in Quahog instead of Newport.
I'd have to imagine that's pretty cheap, since nothing of note happens in this town. A Whole Foods opening is probably like the one cool thing they all have to look forward to.
I'm having this housewarming thing tonight, and I'd love it if you came by.
So Peter swings by, and Reynolds starts to expand the relationship by asking if you can see each one of his abs through his shirt.
Is this shirt too tight? I'm feeling really self-conscious.
No, not at all.
So it looks good like this?
Yeah, it looks good.
Thanks.
Look at that bashful little smile. Somebody's got a schoolyard crush.
Just don't tickle me in my lower abdomen. I'm super ticklish there.
Lower abdomen. You're gonna wish you never said that.
Something tells me he's already wished upon a star to get you to remember that. And to take things further, Ryan invites Peter to hang out on Thursday night.
Do these pants look all right? Sometimes I put them on and I'm thinking I look all balls.
No, I think you're good.
You think my balls are good?
Wouldn't that be weird? Unless... No, it's just a joke. Unless... No, come on now. Unless...
Just a taste.
Oh cool, I was really looking forward to losing my appetite today. And if all that wasn't off-putting enough, Ryan tries to seal the deal.
Whoa, freeze frame. What's gonna happen next?
I think I gotta go to the bathroom.
Can always count on a well-timed bowel movement to get you out of awkward situations. My mom did the same thing when I was born.
Lois, we got a problem. I think Ryan Reynolds is in love with me.
What?
Don't act so shocked, Lois. Are you telling me Peter couldn't pull one of the world's sexiest men alive? Hey, when are they gonna do a cover for the sexiest man not alive? Only seems fair, right?
Well, I don't care what you say. He likes me. And we do have chemistry. I won't deny that.
Yeah, gasoline and fire have chemistry too, but that doesn't mean they should always go together. So Peter heads over to Ryan's to let him down easy.
There are some things that I would do with you, but my heart wouldn't be in it.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, sometimes friends just go wrist deep in their buddy's mouth. Nothing weird about that. And Ryan does his best to refute Peter's claims.
I'm attracted to you in the way that a man is attracted to a woman. But I'm not gay.
Actor's brain is a marvelous thing, isn't it? And Reynolds can't really be around someone who would make such baseless accusations, so he decides to sever their friendship.
This isn't working. It was a nice thought, but I think we should go our separate ways.
Sure, you can tell Peter no, but can you say no to the tickle monster?
Peter, no!
Well, not only can you say no, but you should say no, because this is just embarrassing. So time passes and Ryan leaves Quahog after finishing his movie, but his memory still lingers on Peter's mind.
I just can't help but wonder, will I ever see him again?
Well, yeah, he does get killed pretty quickly in one of Seth MacFarlane's movies. I guess Peter's heartbreak is avenged. But Peter would go out of his way to avenge the public image of O.J. Simpson when he came to Quahog, believing him to be an innocent man and the juice is loose. So while digging around in the drawer, Peter comes across an old raffle he won that he never got to cash in.
It's one free round of golf with a famous celebrity.
Wow, who's the celebrity?
Although 1989 feels like eons ago, it wasn't so long ago that this guy was a beloved household name. Just remember that.
O.J. Simpson.
Who's that?
Oh, you know, an all-timer running back, a movie star, some other things.
Peter, he murdered 2 people.
What?
Allegedly, I should add. Sure, he was found not guilty, but there was also the potential for a lot of evidence mishandling. I don't know, there's a lot to discuss, and last I checked, I'm not a true crime channel.
Peter, you can't play golf with O.J. Simpson. He's a murderer.
Well, if 2 people said it, then it must be true. Now Peter's worried about meeting him, but Joe sees the upside in this.
Maybe you could wear a wire, get OJ to confess, and we could tape the whole thing.
And the golf course is the perfect place to talk murder. 18 holes of slow-moving ball tapping is bound to make the most sane people want to kill each other anyway. So the next day, they put Joe's plan into action.
Hi, are you Peter Griffin?
That's my name, don't put a knife in it.
But someone probably should have told Peter to investigate with a bit more subtlety.
Are you sure you wouldn't like to confess to the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman?
What?
Whoops, the pacemaker's acting up again. Yeah, the jig is up and it looks like Peter is left to the wrath of the juice.
And here I was, looking forward to a nice day of golf, away from all those people who have demonized me.
Yeah, life must be hard for a maybe murderer. Well, Peter sees the good in him and thinks he can turn public perception in his favor.
Gosh, there's no way you could have killed anybody. Not with those sad eyes.
Well, yeah, you don't kill people with your eyes, silly.
OJ is gonna stay here with us in Quahog until I can help him get his life back on track.
I sure hope there's no wacky misunderstandings that make it look like he's gonna kill everyone.
Let me get something to clean that up.
Ah! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Classic. I sure hope investigators confirmed it wasn't spilled lasagna at the crime scene either.
I was wondering if you could give me a little advice on how to murder a woman and get away with it.
See? He's even being a role model for the youth. That's an upstanding citizen in my book. But it doesn't take long for OJ's presence in Quahog to reach the public, but Peter doesn't want that to be the end of things.
We'll even throw a big party and invite everybody in town, and I promise they'll accept you.
Cool. Now should the guests bring their own pitchforks and torches, or will those be provided by the host?
Peter, that's not a group of enthusiastic party guests, that's an angry mob.
But before they can tear him apart, OJ makes one final plea for the people to look into their hearts.
I'm not perfect. The only difference is I have the courage to admit it. Does anyone else have the courage?
Well, regardless, it takes a lot of courage to stand alongside OJ, but the people do just that. I guess it just goes to show that you can't always trust what you read online, in the news, in court filings, and...
Oh, I guess he did do it.
Maybe, but you know, sometimes people's heads just fall off like that. It's the darndest thing. Well, I guess all Simpson will be remembered for now is that we'd rather not remember him. But you should remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to help support our content, and to make sure you're the first to see any new Family Guy content we post weekly.